Hello Enchanted ones, and welcome back. Today, join me as I guide you and teach you how to start your very own magical herb garden. So, sit back, relax, and keep on watching. Aren't herbs amazing? You plant a simple seed and it can grow into a plant that can help you, the world around you, can nurture and heal us through our troubles. The most magical ingredient that works before our very eyes in so many ways are herbs. They've been used for thousands of years for their medicinal properties to help. And if that's not a good enough reason to start working with them, I really don't know what is. Hello Enchanted ones, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be planting my magical herb garden, and I'm going to be bringing you along with me for a full in-depth look in how you can start yours no matter where you are. Now it's the beginning of spring. It is time to start planting my herbs, but because of the chance of frost at the moment, I'm not going to be placing them outside straight away. I'm going to be putting them into my little greenhouse. But if you want to start a magical herb garden inside, you can start that any time of a year. I've been planting and growing my own herbs for about 5 years now, so I'm excited to share my knowledge and everything that I've acquired to help you out. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Why start a magical herb garden? A single herb can hold over 10-20 different qualities. They are just amazing things. They can attract wildlife into your garden. They can help purify the air in your garden and in your home. And they can help aid us into how we want to feel. If I want to feel calm, I would go for a chamomile tea. If I want my breath to be fresh, I would try a piece of parsley. There is just herbs for any emotion and any time of day. For me, the idea of being able to go outside and pick my own herbs that I'd grown was just something that I always wanted to achieve. It just gets us closer to the land around us and gets us connected to the frequency that is going on around us. And I think it's important to remember that each herb has its own magic, and there's so much to learn. Instead of just thinking of learning that in one day, it is a lifetime journey to know each herb and its own properties. So don't think you have to learn everything at once. Start small, and then you can just see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, until you are happy with what you've got. And gardening. I love gardening. It's so therapeutic and meditative and can really help you get your stresses away, and also can really help ground you. As think about it, you're feeling the earth, you're smelling the scents of everything. It's just a really lovely grounding ritual that you can do. What do I need to grow herbs? In order to grow seeds, you will need 5 different things. You will need sunlight, water, soil, seeds, and a container. You might not need a container if you're planting them just straight into the earth. The other day I went into the garden centre and I bought a few things to start off my herb garden this year. I bought these great trays, and these are just drip trays that you can use to put the little seedlings in just to catch the water. This is great if you're starting your herb garden inside. I'm using mine in my little greenhouse, so I don't want them to drip below and disturb anything else. But if you don't want to spend money on this, literally there's so many things around the house that you can use, such as things in the kitchen like a baking tray, a casserole dish. You could definitely make something instead of buying this. The second thing was a decompostable little pots. I bought these pots for, I think they're about £5, but you don't necessarily need to buy something. You could use eggshells and you could just plant your seeds in there. You could use an egg tray, a carton. There are so many different things, but I highly recommend using something that's decompostable. When your seedlings are big enough, you could just place this into a little pot or into the earth, and then this will decompose, and it's overall just so much better for the environment. So then dirt or soil. This is just multi-purpose compost. Really any garden soil will do if it has a lot of drainage. If you have clay soil, herbs do not like that. They like well-drained soil, so be wary of that. Be wary if you buy any soil from the garden centre that's like indoor houseplant soil. I bought that a couple of years ago to plant some seeds in my kitchen, and every single plant was great up until about 3 weeks when they all just died. The only thing I could think of was the soil just didn't hold enough nutrients to help them grow. And sun. Most herbs require a minimum of 4 hours of sunlight per day, so if you're putting yours on your windowsill, make sure there's enough sun there. And in the garden too, I've had herbs before that just aren't looking good. They still grow, but they're just not thriving from having enough sunlight. And the last thing, of course, are the seeds. So I've bought quite a lot of seeds this year. It's going to be my biggest and best herb garden yet. Most of these I actually bought online, but basically the herbs that I have chosen are ones that I've worked with before, but I have got a few experimental herbs that I've thrown in there. One that I haven't grown before is mugwort. I'm really interested to see this, and I've never actually tried it before, so I'm excited for that. And a herb on offer which was called hyssop, which I've never tried before, and I'm excited to see what this will be like. If you don't like herbs, that's okay. It's great because it encourages the wildlife in our garden, and really that's what herbs are for in the first place. Oh, and make sure your soil is peat free.
What are the easiest and most challenging herbs to grow?
A lot of the herbs that I've grown are really easy herbs to grow. I mean, really all of them are, as long as you go about their needs in the right way. The only ones I've had trouble with are lavender and rosemary. They are from Mediterranean countries, so they sometimes need more coarser soil, but also really well drained soil. So bear that in mind if yours ever start to not look good. You might need to drill a couple more holes in the bottom of their container, but yeah, I just can't keep rosemary alive. I don't know why. Also, be wary about how big your herbs can get. And I mean this because some of them can get absolutely huge. So if you are planting multiple herbs in the same pot, like for example mint and thyme, your mint will dominate that pot and the thyme will just kind of just sit at the back and just not grow that much. So make sure you read up about that. The biggest herbs that I've ever grown are lemon balm, mint, sage and lavender and rosemary. Oh my gosh, those two, yeah, they get quite big, so they need their own pot.
Do I have to sow my herbs from seed?
Absolutely not. You do not need to grow your herbs from seed. I don't grow a lot of mine from seed either. Sometimes I'll get them from a supermarket if I need them to have like as a garnish on my dinner, but I do not recommend buying herbs from the supermarket to put into your garden. The rosemary bush that I told you about that keeps dying, I have a feeling the reason why it is dying is because I bought it from Sainsbury's. I don't think they get off to the best start in life. I think they just kind of get undernourished, and I've never seen anybody in Sainsbury's actually water herbs. I don't know about you guys, and I don't know if you've had a different experience, but I recommend buying your herbs from a garden centre. You can probably buy seeds from a supermarket. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but yeah, if you're looking to have rosemary in your garden for multiple years, I mean it can live up to 30 years. I don't think supermarket rosemary will be good for that.
How can you organise your seedlings and information?
Well, if you hadn't seen my video a couple of weeks ago, I've just started a new botanical book of shadows. here it is. So what I did the other day was I had started to organise the herbs and different sections of what I'm going to put into this book. So I went ahead and I drew boxes. In the boxes, I'm going to have 4 different titles, one being what herb it is, the seed sowed, so for example where I put the seeds, the harvest, so how to harvest that plant and when, the magical properties of that plant, and extra things that I might come across, like if I don't grow it properly or something that I find out about that plant and how to work with it. It might be good there, just so I have all the information in just this one place. So in a minute when I'm planting my seeds, I'm going to be using this book. I'm going to be writing everything down as I go. I'm bringing you along with me too.
How do you make your herb garden extra magical?
You can make your herb garden extra magical if you want to. You don't have to, but you can actually set your intentions on your seeds. There are so many different ways you can do that. One is by following the magical properties of that seed. So for example, when you're growing basil, you can think of its properties and it attracts love, success, wealth, and you can think about a situation when you are enhancing those properties. You don't need to pay attention to the magical qualities if you want to at all. You could just literally think about something that you want to manifest in your life and then hold the seeds and then plant them, and then as they grow, of course, that energy will be released into the world. I like to imagine the plant thriving and full of life, so it will get off to its best chance in life. I love to just fill myself up with love whilst I hold the seed, so it just feels the energy and just thrives in its life to give it the best herb life possible. Now I've covered all of those questions, it's time to actually start planting some seeds. And the first plant I'm going to be planting is parsley.
So, following the directions on the back of the packet, I made a hole into a bed of soil and then I poured a few parsley seeds inside. Then covered them back over with a thin layer of soil. I then turned to my botanical book of shadows and wrote a little information about parsley. Parsley is full of antioxidants and it can help cleanse and purify the air around it. It symbolises rebirth, strength, and can help with infections, but those are just to name a few.
Now my little parsley saplings are in here. I'm going to give them a label. And for my labels, I actually use pieces of wood that I have wood burnt. Now, this is actually, really interestingly enough, the pieces of wood that come with canvases. I have no idea what these pieces of wood are for. I've got so many tiny little pieces of wood lying around my house. So what I do is wood burn them, so it gives it kind of like that rustic edge. And eventually these will decompose and not look the best, but I think it's just a really fun little activity. So I'm going to be popping it in here. Parsley is so addictive. I could eat bags and bags of parsley. It's just my addictive herb. So anyway, let's plant some more and I'll tell you about the magical qualities on the way.
Because it was such a lovely day, by no means was I going to plant the rest of my seeds inside. So I moved the party outside. And the next herb I was going to plant was chamomile. Chamomile must be one of the most calming, healing herbs I know, and its calming, soothing nature quietens our racing mind when we have anxiety, insomnia, and nightmares. It can also help with digestion, and it helps to relax our muscles. Next, I planted Chives. I love cooking with chives. They have such a soft onion flavour, but also chives or anything onion-like can help to ward negativity away, and they contain vitamin K, which is good for bones. Next was dill. The delicate nature of dill holds onto so many qualities. It can be used to enhance success and luck, and can be hung up to keep away negativity. It can also help with heart problems and reduce the risk of strokes. Next, another herb I could eat all day, coriander. Did you know that coriander is seen as an aphrodisiac? It is a herb that can help with fertility and love. Mixed with wine, it is seen as a love potion, or placed in a sachet, it can help with headaches. Such a wide variety of uses. Next was my new herb, hyssop. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. And it seems to be a herb I needed so badly right now. It helps to awaken our senses, bring balance, and helps us to get in touch with our heart, to bring acceptance to ourselves and clarity of spirituality. Wow, that's a lot. Next, it wouldn't be a herb garden for me without sage. Sage helps to purify the air, ridding any negativity. Its cleansing nature is powerful and is enhanced when burnt. It brings purity to us and anything in its path. Next, lavender. This year I am planting British lavender. It can be eaten and used in calming teas and mists and cooking. Lavender has the most intoxicating scent. It can aid us to sleep, calm our racing minds, and can bring happiness into our lives. It also brings an abundance of bees into our gardens. So this year I have decided to plant my own rosemary, as I just want it to survive so bad. And what a wonderful herb it is. Rosemary can help purify the air and rids negativity. It is an evergreen herb, so it can be used all year round, and if drunk in a tea, it aids memory and focus. Next, I planted peppermint. A cup of peppermint tea before bed is wonderful and calming. The menthol in the leaves can help relax our minds, but a cup of it in the morning can also work the same way in getting our bodies off to a great relaxing start. It is grounding, purifies the air, and reduces headaches and allergies. And last but not least, mugwort. Mugwort can enhance visions and dreams, so you may want to have a cup of mugwort tea handy if you are going to do a visual meditation. It can aid us with cramping and increases circulation in nerves and muscles. I can't wait to learn more about it this year. And I was done, and I've only just skimmed the edges of what these herbs are capable of. Above all else, you'll probably realise that a lot of them are good for purifying the air, and that's because they're all plants. They help us to breathe and they help the wildlife around us. But always remember to look up how much of a herb you can consume daily. Also, if you are pregnant, make sure to do your research. But there is just so much to learn, believe me. The process of learning is part of our journey and very rewarding.
So we have planted our seeds, we have set intentions on them, given you the magical properties of them. If you have any more questions about seeds or herbs, please do leave them down below. But also, if you have some knowledge to share, perhaps on a particular herb or something that I haven't covered, then leave that down below too, because trust me, when I said there's a lifetime of things to learn about it, I am right. There is just so much information, and I'm sure there are lots of people that know a lot more about herbs than me. I'm just sharing my knowledge on the matter. So thank you so much for watching, Enchanted Ones. All my love, Alwyn.